Hi, this is Dr. Isola, and I'm very happy to come to your living room at this time. I have a very unique background. By His grace, I'm an ordained minister. I was ordained in Hong Kong by one of the leading ministers in the world today. He has about 4,000 pastors under him. That's Pastor Adeboye. He came to Hong Kong to ordain me. Academically, I also bless the name of the Lord. I have about 5 degrees, a PhD in international business, Masters in Business Administration, Masters in Accounting, Masters in Missiology, and Bachelor's in Business Management. Also, I have an honorary doctorate in Divinity by His grace. Currently producing all the way from Asia. A few years ago, I was producing here in Atlanta for TV 57 for about 5 years. We ran the show for about 5 years. And God has blessed us with this opportunity to actually come and minister to you. This is going to bring to you a combination of music and ministration, the word as well, coming from different parts of the world, from more than 8 years of mission work in Asia as a missionary, starting a church and overseeing the church to where they have about 5 branches now in different parts of Asia, Hong Kong, India, Pakistan. We have branches all over at this time. So it will be very easy, just admonishing one another in songs and psalms as commanded by the Lord, and believe that the Lord will touch you. Once in a while we'll share real life testimonies. Some of them were reported in even secular newspapers. At one time we had a particular miracle that the Lord did through our ministry that was recorded on 2 continents at the same time in newspapers, and people are talking about this. And we continue to see the hand of the Lord in our ministry. We will share with you how we walk with Him. And as Paul said, hope that you can also learn a little bit from us. He said, be followers of me as I follow Christ. I pray that you will be blessed as you watch this show. The first song says, as we gather. A lot of times people think that prayer is magic. Prayer is not magic. If God is not there, you can do all the gymnastics that you know how to do. We saw that when Jesus went to the mountain of transfiguration, when He was transfigured in front of a few disciples. There were some other disciples left behind, and when they brought to them a special case, they did all the physical manifestations, the jumping around. I know some people even push people down these days, in the name of praying for them. If God is not there, it's useless. It's God who decides the result of your prayers. And that's what that song is about. It says, as we gather, we want your presence, because your presence makes all the difference. If Moses said, I will not go if your presence will not go with me. And that's what that song is about. It's about inviting the presence of God so that his people can be blessed. Because he said, as I'm lifted up, if you lift me up, I'll bring souls to myself. That's the purpose of the song.
How sweet God in this place, let your spirit come into our midst, and your presence fill this place. Oh, oh, Lord, how sweet God in this place, let your spirit come into our midst, and your presence fill this place. Oh, let your spirit come and fill this place. Come, let your spirit come and fill me now. Come, let your spirit come and take control. Calling now. Come, let your spirit come and fill this place. Come, let your spirit come and take control. Calling out. We shall sing hallelujah. We shall see the Lord someday. We shall walk the streets of gold someday. We shall sing hallelujah. We shall walk the streets of gold someday.
The second song is Heaven and Earth Adore You. And you are awesome, God. When you give your life to Christ and you are in faith for 30 years or more, and you can still come back and say God is faithful, it's deep. And that's what that song is about. Because Jesus said, in the world, you will face temptations and trials. The world will hate you because they hated me first. It's not going to be a bed of roses. And when you go through all those things and 30 years later or more, you are still able to say that God is awesome, it is a message to those that are coming behind, to those that are in their valley at this time, that are asking questions about the faithfulness of God. And they're asking questions like, will God see me through? Am I going to come out on the other side? In China, we just had a lady that had 8 hours of spinal surgery. She's recovering now, but when she was going through that, many people thought she will not come out of it alive. Because, in fact, the doctors that performed the surgery, they were surprised. They've never done anything like that. And some people will say, why didn't God just heal her? Why did she have to go through this surgery? But God has a way of doing things. Paul said, now we see as true or dark, or cloudy mirror. So when we meet him face to face, we will understand, even as he understands us. But in this world that we're in, God will use various ways, various methods to make his purpose come across. Yes, that's the purpose of the song.
Heaven and earth, praise your name, oh Lord. Praise your name. Heaven and earth, worship you, oh Lord. Worship you. You are awesome, Lord. 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 You are holy, Lord. You are holy, Lord. You are holy, Lord. You are holy,
Lord. The Hour of Praise ministry, we have one goal, and that's to link people up with God. That's the main goal of the ministry. There are different types of ministries out there. There are people who want you to see them as the person to go to for power. When you need help, they want you to come to them, but that's not our ministry. Our ministry is to link you up with that God in such a way that you become who God has made you to be yourself. Because he said, ye are gods. That's what the scripture says. It says, ye are gods. You yourself. You don't need an intermediary between you and God. I want to show you basically how to do that. We know it's a little bit difficult to do that, but as we walk together, we believe that even as we have seen in different parts of the world, people tapping into this ministry and finding out how to actually walk with God by themselves. At this point, I'd like to share the testimony of a lady that was invited to church for the first time. This was in Hong Kong. We had a church there. And as she entered the church that day, we were just worshiping, and the Spirit of God came down, and she was slain in the Spirit. No one touched her. The Spirit of God just descended upon her. And for the entire service, the Spirit of God was just dealing with her. She was not even aware of what the ministry was. I mean, what the message was that day, the music. The ushers just left her alone to have special time with God. And by the time it was over, she called the next day and she said, Pastor, I had about 5 different ailments that I've been seeing doctors for. And this morning, the symptoms are all gone. And I blessed the name of the Lord with her, and I said, I knew God was doing something in your life yesterday, but I didn't know exactly what God was doing. So this is our mission. This particular lady went on to do exploits for God. She was from the Philippines. She was working in Hong Kong as a maid. And one of the notable miracles that God performed again through her was daughter was in labor and the baby was not coming out. So they wrote her and they asked her to send 49,000 pesos so that the doctor can do a C-section. But having experienced the power of God, just a few months earlier, she told them she doesn't have 49,000 pesos, but she can pray. And the baby came out. She didn't ask for pastor, she didn't ask for the prayer group, she just prayed with her daughter on the phone. And the girl went back to the hospital, same hospital, and the baby came out. This is the purpose of our ministry, is to link people with God in such a way that they can go to that well and draw waters of life. That's our ministry, and that is what we hope to achieve through this ministry.
Your kingdom, I know it. Your kingdom, I know it. I know it. I know it. From east to west, north to south, here's your reign. From the north to south, east to west, here's your reign. From America to Asia, you should reign, you should reign. Oh, you should reign. You should reign. Your kingdom has no end. Your kingdom has no end. Has no end. Has no end. From east to west, north to south, you should reign. From east to west, north to south, you should reign. From America to Asia, you should reign. You should reign. Oh, you should reign. You should reign. Father, you should.
Yeah, I know one of the questions that you might be asking is why go to Asia when there are people here that also need ministry? A follower of Christ is someone who listens to God and who obeys His commandments. Jesus said, "A branch that abides in me, I will prune and it will grow. But if a branch does not abide in me, it will be casted out and burned in fire." The steps of the righteous, they are ordered by the Lord. Because I get these questions here, but over there I get the same question. America is this great place. Why are you here in China when Chinese people are trying to come over to America? Almost everyone wants to leave that place and come here. Jesus was in the middle of ministry at one time, and the Spirit of God told him, it is time to go to the other side so that we can minister to them. The Bible says, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Sometimes, what makes sense in the natural may not be what makes sense in the spiritual. When the Spirit of God says, okay, now you are my servant and I want you in Asia. If you want to remain a servant, you go to Asia. And when the Spirit of God says, okay, I want you back in the United States, and you stay in China, you are no longer a servant, you are a master. Lordship of Jesus Christ is what we all claim. We want Jesus to be the Lord of our lives, means to be the master, to be the one who tells us what to do. And I always tell people, it is not where you are that really matters. It is where God wants you to be that really matters, because He can bless you anywhere. There are people that are blessed in Africa, in the midst of everything, abject poverty. So basically, that's one of the reasons. And again, looking at the accomplishment, physical, natural accomplishments, all the degrees, and I personally feel that they are all for His glory, because nothing that we have really belongs to us. We are given everything that we have. When we see our accomplishments as our personal property, it becomes very difficult for us to follow Christ. But when we give it all, one of the things I really love about titles is it gives you open doors. There are some people that will not listen to you until they hear that you are Dr. So. And that gives you audience. Who knows? Maybe that may give you the opportunity to bring them closer to God. That is what I see in that. I say, if this one can be a follower, maybe I'm not too big to be a follower too. Because some people think they are just too big to follow Christ. They think Christianity is for people who are not that accomplished in life. But they're wrong. Thanks so much for joining us today. And please tune in the same time next week. We'll look forward to coming to your room again, to your house again, to dialogue with you and to share with you where God is leading us. Thank you.